doing the collision work wasn't really for me. I didn't enjoy it. For some people, I guess it's okay, but for me, I had a different path.
KC Mathieu gained attention with his flawless paintwork on Fast and Loud. But with that fame came pressure, betrayal, and tragedy. Things quietly began to break apart until it finally ended for him. Join us as we unravel the heartbreaking reality of KC Mathieu's dream life. A passion for painting. Mathieu was born on May 29, 1983, in Texas. As a child, Mathieu felt drawn to things that most kids didn't usually think about. He spent a lot of time looking at cars and their parts. He often got fascinated by the way paint changed the look of a vehicle. That interest didn't go away as he grew older. Instead, it became stronger. He would go to his father's auto shop and watch everything carefully. He paid close attention to how the workers fixed and painted the cars. With time, he began to pick up tools, helping out wherever he could. And by the time he turned 12, Mathieu had already painted his first car. He didn't treat it like a simple task. He worked hard on it, treating the project like something serious. He made sure to get every line and color just right. That early start gave him confidence. He didn't stop there. He kept working on his skills, staying close to what he loved most, cars and paint. He found joy in every project and slowly built up his experience. Over the years, Mathieu found a way to turn this childhood interest into a full career. He didn't rush into anything. It was a gradual process. He worked step by step, gaining more skills as he went along. People began to notice his work. In Texas, more and more car owners came to him when they wanted something unique done. He earned their trust, not just by doing the job, but by taking the time to understand exactly what they wanted. His steady rise in the car world didn't go unnoticed by television. Soon, he became one of the main faces on the reality show Fast and Loud, which aired on the Discovery Channel. He didn't appear in just 1 or 2 episodes. He stayed with the show for 3 full seasons, building a strong presence and connecting with viewers who enjoyed watching custom car work. The show gave him a wider platform and helped more people discover what he could do. Apart from the show, Mathieu also appeared in magazine features and other television programs. His work stood out because of the way he paid attention to every small detail. People admired not just his skill, but the way he approached each task. He took time to plan everything carefully and never rushed the job. That level of care helped him build a name for himself. Now, Mathieu runs a successful paint shop in Fort Worth, Texas. He named it KC Paint Shop. It's not just another place where cars are painted. The shop has built a solid reputation over the years. People bring their cars from different parts of the state just to have him work on them. His approach to each car remains the same. He studies the design, picks the right materials, and works slowly until everything looks just right. The shop hasn't only earned praise from customers, it has also won awards for its performance and precision. Aside from running his shop, Mathieu also travels across the country. He takes part in auto shows where people come to show off their vehicles. At these events, he meets other professionals, shares ideas, and shows off some of his latest work. His presence at these shows adds to his credibility, and many car lovers look forward to seeing what he will come up with next. Even though Mathieu is now well known, he hasn't changed much from the boy who used to hang out in his father's workshop. He still takes things seriously. He puts his head down and works hard, sticking to what he knows best. Every part of the process is handled with care, from the first touch to the final coat. His journey shows how someone can turn a simple interest into a full-time career by learning, staying focused, and never stepping away from what they love. While he chooses to stay private about many parts of his life, his work speaks for him. His journey continues to grow with every car he paints, every show he attends, and every detail he gets just right. Meanwhile, let's take a look at how the show, Fast and Loud, started, and also find out what led to its end. Fast and Loud. Fast and Loud was a popular show on the Discovery Channel that brought attention to a group of car experts working at a garage in Dallas, Texas. The show followed the daily routine at Gas Monkey Garage, a place where old, broken-down cars were given new life. Richard Rawlings, the man who started the garage, led the team as they searched across the country for cars that had been forgotten or left to rot. With hard work and careful planning, these rough-looking vehicles were turned into beautiful machines and sold for profit. Richard Rawlings started Gas Monkey Garage in 2002. He had already been working hard to build a name for himself in the world of cars and business. Before fully focusing on the garage, he owned a printing company called Lincoln Press, which he later sold in 2004. This decision allowed him to put all his time and energy into growing the garage. His idea was simple: find old cars, fix them up, and sell them to car lovers around the world. But it wasn't just about fixing cars. The garage also added custom details and designs to make each car special. In 2012, Discovery Channel began airing Fast and Loud. Viewers got to see the entire process, from the moment Richard and his crew found a car to the final reveal after weeks of fixing, painting, and rebuilding. The show mixed hard work with personality, and that made it enjoyable for viewers. Richard had a strong presence on screen, and his team brought different skills and energy to each project. The show didn't just focus on the car. It also captured the friendship, pressure, and excitement that came with each job. The show quickly became a favorite among car fans and people who enjoyed watching transformations. Each episode followed a pattern, tracking down cars that needed a lot of work, bringing them back to the garage, and racing against time and budgets to finish the restoration. The cars were often in terrible condition. Some were full of rust, some were missing parts, and others hadn't moved in years. But Rawlings and his crew kept pushing through, solving problems and working long hours to get the cars looking brand new again. One of the most exciting moments in the show's run came when Richard Rawlings and Aaron Kaufman, one of the garage's top mechanics, were asked to take part in a motorcycle build-off. They competed against famous names like Orange County Choppers, Paul Jr. Designs, and Jesse James. Their motorcycle project stood out and impressed many people. In the final results, they ended up in second place. Even though they didn't win, it was still a proud moment that brought even more attention to what they were doing at Gas Monkey Garage. As the show grew in popularity, spin-offs followed. One of them was Misfit Garage, which focused on some former employees in their own new shop. There was also Fast and Loud, Demolition Theater, a fun series where Richard, his staff, and even the people involved in certain clips sat down and reacted to some of the wildest moments from the show. These spin-offs kept fans interested and offered something extra beyond the usual format. The production of Fast and Loud was handled by Pilgrim Studios. Craig Peligian and Eddie Rowetter served as executive producers, helping to shape the show and keep it running smoothly from behind the scenes. Their experience helped bring the raw energy of the garage to television screens in a way that felt real and entertaining. The show didn't just entertain, it also built a strong fan base. In 2016, a survey by the New York Times revealed that Fast and Loud had a huge following on Facebook. Out of 50 shows reviewed, this one had the largest number of male fans. About 83% of the page's likes came from men. That strong support helped the show stay on air for 8 years, running from 2012 until 2020. Over time, it became more than just a car show. It became part of a culture where people enjoyed watching something old being brought back to life through teamwork and effort. For Richard Rawlings and everyone who worked at Gas Monkey Garage, the show was a way to share their love of cars with the world, one build at a time. Unfortunately, their time together came to an end, and the reason behind it was quite critical. End of the road. When Fast and Loud first aired in 2012, it caught the attention of car lovers everywhere. The show followed Richard Rawlings and his team at Gas Monkey Garage as they searched for old cars, fixed them up, and sold them for profit. It didn't take long for the series to grow in popularity. Over time, it ran through 16 seasons, keeping viewers hooked with each new project and build. For 8 strong years, the show stayed on the air, and Rawlings kept pushing ahead with the same energy that helped it rise in the first place. Everything seemed to be going smoothly until it all came to an unexpected end in 2020. People were left wondering why the show had suddenly wrapped up. No official reason was given right away, and fans were confused about what had gone wrong behind the scenes. It wasn't until much later that Rawlings opened up about what had really been happening during those years with the Discovery Channel. While Rawlings was fully involved with Fast and Loud, he had also started thinking about doing other things. He wanted to branch out and create an automotive podcast, one that would give him space to speak freely and share thoughts without being held back. But there were blocks in his way that made that almost impossible. The first major issue was tied directly to his contract with Discovery. According to the agreement, he had to watch what he said about the network. If he ever spoke badly about it, he could end up paying a huge fine, even as high as $25,000 each time. This kind of pressure made him feel boxed in. He couldn't express himself the way he wanted. He also needed to work with another studio if he planned to launch something new, like a podcast. But that couldn't happen because he was already tied to Discovery through an exclusive deal. This left him feeling stuck, like he was working hard without moving forward. Rawlings knew he had more ideas and wanted to bring them to life, but the rules in place kept pulling him back. Though he wasn't the only one who felt this way. His team also started to think about new things they could do with the show. They had energy, creativity, and ambition, but they weren't allowed to push the limits or try out bold new ideas. All of this built up over time, and Rawlings reached a point where he had to make a decision. Eventually, he stepped away from Discovery. It wasn't easy to let go of something he had worked on for so long, but he knew that if he didn't take that step, he would keep going around in circles. So he chose to move on and put more focus on YouTube and other personal projects that had been on his mind for a while. It was a move that changed everything. By leaving the network behind, Rawlings finally opened up a new chapter. He went ahead and built the Gas Monkey Garage YouTube channel, pouring his energy into videos and online content. Slowly but surely, it started to grow. Fans who had loved Fast and Loud began following the new content. The channel picked up speed and turned into something big in the automotive world. People now tuned in not just for car builds, but to see Rawlings doing what he loved without anyone holding him back. Even though it was sad for many fans to see the end of Fast and Loud, it was also the beginning of something fresh. Rawlings had found a new direction, and this time, he had full control over it. The garage stayed busy, the cars kept rolling in, and the passion never left. Everything that had been held in during the Discovery years finally found space to grow. Over time, it became clear that leaving the show was the right move for him. He used what he had learned to build something better. The YouTube channel grew stronger with every post, and Rawlings kept reaching out to fans in his own way. His fans stood by him through the change, helping him carry forward the same spirit that made Fast and Loud special in the first place. Looking back, it wasn't just a show that ended. It was a shift that helped someone break out of a corner and chase after something new. Rawlings didn't give up on cars, fans, or storytelling. He just found another road and decided to drive down it. What happened to the rest of the Fast and Loud team? After being off the air for more than 2 years, the world of Fast and Loud and the people who worked at Gas Monkey Garage have slowly drifted into different directions. The show, once filled with roaring engines, last-minute deadlines, and a wild team of builders, had kept viewers hooked for years. Now, each familiar face has taken a different path, and their stories have continued in ways that still interest longtime fans. Among the most well-known figures was Aaron Kaufman, who stood out for his strong skills and bold style. He had been part of the team since the beginning and helped build Gas Monkey Garage into something much bigger. His long beard and serious work ethic made him stand out even more. He didn't just build cars, he put his heart into each one. But in 2017, he walked away from it all. He stepped away from Gas Monkey Garage and left the show behind. He said it was for personal reasons, but many people guessed he had grown tired of the fast pace and constant pressure. After leaving, Aaron didn't stop working with cars. He opened his own shop in Dallas, Texas, and called it ArcLight Fab. This place focused on something very close to his heart: restoring and customizing Ford F-100 trucks. These classic pickups, once a common sight on American roads, became his main focus. He wanted to bring them back to life in a way that honored their history while also giving them new features. His shop gained attention for its clean builds and attention to detail. For a short time, Aaron returned to television. He starred in a new show called Shifting Gears with Aaron Kaufman. It was a solo project that followed him and his new team through different builds and races. But it didn't last long. After just one season, the show wrapped up, and Aaron moved on to focus more on his shop and other interests. Another familiar name from Fast and Loud was Sue Martin. She became known for her sharp attitude and fast hands. Though she wasn't part of the main team at Gas Monkey Garage, she played a major role. Her upholstery shop, ASM Auto Upholstery, often took on the interior work for the cars featured in the show. She and her team always had to work under pressure because of the tight deadlines. But despite the challenges, she always came through. In the later seasons of the show, Sue was suddenly missing. Viewers noticed right away, but no one offered a clear explanation. Both Sue and Richard Rawlings stayed silent about her absence. Even though she wasn't part of the final stretch of the show, Sue kept working. Her business carried on, and by all signs, it's doing very well. She didn't need the show to keep her shop running. She had already built a strong name for herself in the world of custom interiors. Then there was Christy Brimberry. She worked in the office at Gas Monkey Garage, but her role was much more than just answering phones or filing papers. She kept everything in order behind the scenes. From handling the payroll to ordering parts, Christy made sure the business side of the garage didn't fall apart. She had a no-nonsense way of handling things, and it helped balance out the wild energy in the shop. Christy was part of the show from the beginning and stayed until 2017. Her journey with Gas Monkey Garage actually began because of her husband. He had been Richard Rawlings' hairstylist for a long time, and through that connection, Christy got the job. She worked hard and earned respect from everyone around her. But something much bigger was happening in her life that most people didn't know about. In 2016, Christy found out she had cancer. She needed surgery to remove the cancer from her thyroid, and the process wasn't easy. Even after the operation, she had to go through radiation treatment. She didn't talk about it much at first, but later she let people know what she had been through. By 2017, she shared the good news that she had recovered. After her health scare, Christy stepped away from the garage and started focusing more on her family. She took a job at a salon and seemed happy to move into a different phase of her life. The fast pace of television and car builds was behind her, and she looked more at ease with where life had taken her. Another name people still remember is Mike Coy. He had been one of the main painters and fabricators on Fast and Loud, and his skills always stood out. Over the years, he became more and more popular, especially online. On Instagram, his page grew to over 225,000 followers. He often showed off his tools and shared photos of the custom jobs he had taken on. For a while, Mike stayed away from television. He didn't jump into new shows right away, but in 2023, he came back. He joined the Netflix show Tex-Mex Motors and took on the role of shop boss and painter. The new show gave him a fresh start and allowed him to show off his skills once again. Fans were happy to see him return and bring the same level of care and creativity to new builds. Each of these people had played a different part in the story of Fast and Loud, but after the show ended, they all found new directions. Some stayed close to the world of cars, while others took a break from it. They each faced their own personal struggles and victories. They didn't try to hold on to the spotlight. Instead, they moved forward with what mattered most to them. Even though Fast and Loud is no longer on the air, its impact is still felt. The personalities, the builds, the fast turnarounds, and the teamwork created something special that fans still talk about. And now, the people behind those moments are building new stories on their own paths with the same determination that made the show so popular in the first place. And KC Mathieu isn't left out. His journey too had taken a different turn. A new direction. Mathieu has built a solid career around his skills in automotive painting. Over the years, he has put in a lot of effort to grow his paint shop business, which now stands as a strong and reliable source of income. While many people know him from his regular appearances on the TV show Fast and Loud, it's really his shop that keeps his career moving forward. The shop remains the foundation of his earnings, keeping him steady even after his time on television began to slow down. His career took a turn for the better when he joined Fast and Loud. That exposure brought in more customers, opened new doors, and helped him gain respect in the auto world. After being on the show for many episodes, people began to recognize his face and associate his name with high-quality paint jobs and custom work. Along with television, he was also featured in some popular magazines, which helped push his image further and bring in more work for his shop. That combination of TV, press, and word of mouth has helped keep his business strong. Mathieu's love for cars has always stood out. He's drawn to the style, the sound, and the performance of high-end and classic vehicles. His personal collection gives a glimpse of his passion. It includes a Lincoln and a 2004 Mustang GT, among other cars. He takes good care of these vehicles and treats them as something more than just machines. They reflect the kind of work he enjoys and the kind of attention to detail he brings to every job. When it comes to his personal life, Mathieu keeps most things private. Still, what is known about him paints the picture of someone who stays close to his family. He's been married to KC Mathieu since 2004, and together they have raised 2 children, a son and a daughter. Even though he had chances to continue growing his TV career, he made a decision to step away and spend more time at home. His family became more important than the spotlight, and he didn't think twice about putting them first. The home where they live says a lot about the life he has built. Located in Texas, the house is spacious and filled with the kind of comfort that comes from years of hard work. It's not just about size or cost, but the sense of peace it offers him and his family. This is where he finds time to relax, enjoy meals with loved ones, and take a break from the busy pace of running a business. Mathieu has always stayed focused on his goals. He kept his head down and worked hard without letting fame get to him. He stayed away from drama, avoided public scandals, and focused on growing his business the right way. His work speaks for itself, and because of that, he has not been pulled into any kind of rumors or trouble. He shows up, does the work, and goes back to his family, keeping everything steady and well-balanced. He also has plans to take his business even further. He's been looking at ways to grow, to reach more customers, and to keep improving his skills and services. That shows how serious he is about what he does. Even with all the success he already has, he continues to push forward and look for ways to do more. That kind of mindset is what keeps his business strong year after year. Even though he stepped away from the show, he hasn't disappeared from view. He stays active on social media and keeps his followers in the loop. His social media handles give fans a chance to connect with him and stay updated on what's going on with the shop. Through photos and short videos, people can see the new projects, completed work, and the cars that come through his doors. By choosing to stay grounded and keep his priorities straight, Mathieu has built something that lasts. His name is respected in the auto world, his business continues to grow, and his personal life stays strong. He has shown that with hard work and the right choices, it's possible to build both a career and a family life that bring real happiness.